Silver, the majestic and galactic nature of this magical metal is nothing but spectacular to say the least. God's money, transported here by meteors and asteroids, only to be patiently awaiting in the Earth's crust to be mined and used for thousands upon thousands of different reasons. Nothing comes even somewhat close to the incredible benefits silver brings to the surface, pun intended, and the craziest part is, that's not even explaining why silver is so valuable compared to other elements on the periodic table. Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, folks. If you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this channel. I post daily silver-related videos. You will never miss a beat, always giving you the newest, latest information, anything regarding silver, your one-stop shop. So I found an article titled, "Here's an Obvious Reason to Own Silver." It's pretty interesting. Think of this. There's like two guys sitting at a bar, and one is talking about all the reasons why he thinks stocks are the best investment. And the other guy's debating him, talking about silver. Silver makes so much more sense than any other investment. Even more so than anything related to the US dollar. I could tell this guy 100 reasons why silver is the best investment, and I could also tell him 100 reasons why stocks are not the best investment. Nothing makes as much sense in terms of intrinsic value within itself. Silver is money, not what is used to make money, and also the several uses it has. I mean, when you're looking at something that has value, you determine it on what it can do. How useful is it? That's how you invest instead of gamble. Investors make strategic decisions based off information. The information is that silver is extremely useful in several different things, and even more so, there's not much of it left. Scarcity, low supply, high demand pushes the price up. See, when we're talking about the reality of investing, if you are a realist and look at the facts, silver makes the most sense. That could almost go beyond an opinion as a fact when you look at silver's uses. In colloidal silver, silver nanoparticles, it has antimicrobial properties, it can purify water. It also is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, and light sensitivity. Gold kind of sits around on your neck and in earrings and jewelry, and sits in safes in a bank, and kind of just sits around and it's valuable because it's shiny. Basically, most gold is used for that. Silver, mainly industrial. So, anyways, I want you guys to really think about that when we're reading this article, because here's another interesting reason that doesn't really go into what I was just mentioning. It goes into some other things just as important. There's so many different reasons why silver has so much potential. Anyways, before we jump into this, I did want to mention it is Monday, so guess what that means? Miles Franklin weekly silver, gold, and platinum deals just got released, so I want to share them with you. So this week we have the 2023 Silver Philharmonics only $340 over spot. We also have the $20 Gold Liberties random date only $165 over melt. And last but not least, we also have the Platinum 2023 Philharmonics $105 over spot. If you want to take advantage of these deals or purchase anything else, send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Ask for a price list, great deals, great customer service. We will hook you up. I love the title of this article, "Here's an Obvious Reason to Own Silver." It's so straightforward and blunt. I mean, there's lots of obvious reasons, but I want to hear his reasoning, so let's jump straight into it. By the summer of 1812, Napoleon still thought of himself as nearly invincible. He had conquered nearly all of Europe with relative ease and brought the continent's remaining rulers under his control. He had personally lost just a single battle, and his chief nemesis, which was Great Britain, just been dragged into a new war with its former colony, the United States. In short, things were really going his way, and the summer of 1812 would have been a great time for Napoleon to take a break, consolidate his gains, and focus on quelling internal rebellions and intrigue from within his vast new empire. So naturally, he decided to invade Russia instead, something that no one had successfully done since Genghis Khan. Yet, Napoleon was convinced that he once again would cruise to an easy victory, writing to his foreign minister on June 27th, "I have an army to which no modern army can be compared. I am in good hopes." Now, Napoleon was obviously a brilliant military commander, so his optimism wasn't unjustified. He had studied other failed invasions of Russia like Swedish King Charles, the 12th futile attempt in 1708, so Napoleon knew that keeping his army well supplied would be essential for victory. That's what he spent months preparing for his invasion with Russia, right? His generals stocked up on food, ammunition, clothing, medicine, etc. He staged them at key resupply points in Eastern Europe. But despite such intense preparations, they simply weren't sufficient. Even someone as experienced as Napoleon managed to vastly underestimate the logistics and resource challenges to be successful. At the end result was that Napoleon's armies ran out of food. In fact, hundreds of thousands of his soldiers died, many from disease and starvation. Morale plummeted, confidence was shattered. Napoleon's enemies seized on the opportunity to unite against him. It was a total disaster, and major reason for it was failing to grasp just how difficult it would be to find enough resources, particularly food, to keep the operation going. So, Napoleon's ill-fated invasion of Russia is just one example of the timeless lesson from history. Leaders often come up with grandiose plans and bold ideas without the slightest understanding of the resource challenges. I like where this is already going. And one modern incarnation of this folly is the fanatical green agenda that aims to completely replace fossil fuels with renewable energy. There we go. Now we're on track of what I also talk about. That was a great segue. I love that. For argument's sake, let's just pretend for a moment that this is a great idea and totally worth the $100 trillion cost, let alone we're already $34 trillion in debt. Let's assume money is no object, which is basically what the greenies believe anyhow. Money doesn't solve the most basic challenge of the green fantasy. Where will they get all the raw materials? See, that's the most important part. And when he says, where will they get all the raw materials, he's talking mainly about silver, the name of this article. We don't have enough silver to go green. Let me repeat that. We do not have enough silver to go green. We don't. And if you think we do, you're living in fantasy land. Solar panels and wind turbines require a lot of resources, including basics like iron, copper, and steel. They also need some really nasty minerals like cobalt. And if you've ever seen the cobalt mines, there's kids, mining in bare feet, terrible working conditions, making like pennies a day, which are typically extracted by child labor in Africa under appalling conditions. I didn't even read that second part yet, but I'm sure you guys have seen stuff as well. Then they try to say clean coal, and there's places where you can get clean resources where it's not. It's just some scam word. So wind and solar also require a host of other obscure elements like indium, terbium, dysprosium, praseodymium. The quantities of these minerals that will be needed to achieve renewable energy goals are far, far greater than what's possible. For example, producing enough solar panels to have 100% renewable energy by 2050 will require production levels of indium that are 10 times greater than exist today. That literally is not possible. The goal of zero net emissions by the year 2050 is so far out there that it's scary that we're trying this, because the amount of money we're throwing at a feat that is going to fail, which was going to, in return, kill the dollar and use up all our resources for an idea that's going to fail anyways, when we could be pushing that to other areas, not only just monetarily wise, but also industrial wise, I mean, it's a messy situation. I always say, yeah, us silver stackers get rich, but at what cost? It's ridiculous when you think about it. It really is. I like this guy. They want the world to be powered by solar panels, but they want to prevent the mining of essential minerals needed to produce these solar panels. It's progressive logic at its finest. This is why I opened up today's article talking about Napoleon's attempt invasion. It's invasion of Russia. He failed because he underestimated the vast quantities of raw materials that it would be required to sustain his armies. Similarly, today, green fanatics will fail because they're underestimating the vast quantities of raw materials that would be required to achieve their dream. That doesn't mean they won't try, though. Fanatics never let ignorance get in the way of a bad idea. And this is what leads me to silver. Thank you, Guy. Thank you for writing this. Thank you for writing this. Because it's not just me saying it anymore. People can't say I'm just crazy out there. The numbers don't lie. Proof is in the pudding. Silver is an essential ingredient in the production of renewable energy technology. Simply put, you can't make the energy grid renewable on wind, solar, and at least without massive quantities of silver. Every megawatt of power produced by solar panels require 1 kilo of silver or 1 metric ton per gigawatt. And those may be very conservative estimates. And think about this. You know how big a kilo bar is? A kilo is 32 ounces. You ever held a kilo bar in your hand? It is massive. It is insane. But anyways, my colleague Gregerson, nice name, founder of Silver Bullion in Singapore, told me over the weekend that a recent study estimated up to 21 metric tons of silver will be needed for every gigawatt of power. Either way, green energy requires substantially more silver than what is being mined right now. And remember that silver production is already in a deficit at the moment. Hundreds of millions of ounces in the red, by the way, not just a small deficit. And it's been like this ongoing for the past couple of years. Industrial and investment demand for silver already exceeds annual mining output. Yet on top of this existing demand, these completely unrealistic renewable energy goals will easily increase silver's demand by another 5 times. This is a pretty clear growth catalyst for the future silver prices, right? Because think about it. Silver demand is a direct correlation with silver supply. Or price, sorry. Silver demand rises, the price rises. Silver demand falls, the price falls. So if we know that silver demand is going to be booming, then what is that going to tell us about the price? It will be booming. It's not rocket science, folks. It's very, very basic information pointing towards one conclusion. You don't got to make it more complicated than it really is. It's very, very obvious that silver is a ticking time bomb. And I'm not trying to just say that. There is very, very blatantly obvious evidence pointing towards that. But make your assumptions or your estimates for yourself. I just go off numbers. I don't theorize. I don't speculate. I go off of the information. I go off of the data, and the data is pointing towards that. If it wasn't, then I wouldn't be coming up with this conclusion. I'm a realist. But anyways, I thought this is a very interesting article. There is some other interesting articles that we could be breaking down. This one is going into something that you have to be subscribed to, but it's also going into the critical role that silver plays. I even made a video the other day about how AI technology is going to be boosting silver demand as well, because we need silver in these new chips, and as AI advances into this new digital technological era, it's going to need even more silver. This article's titled, "Is Silver About to Outperform Gold?" And it's pretty interesting since they show some key data points pointing towards this. He goes into saying, supporting my thesis that silver may outperform gold. The gold to silver ratio has been banging at overhead resistance around 87 to 88 to 1. meaning it takes 88 ounces of silver to equal or amount to 1 ounce of gold. Range in the past couple of weeks following the big rally in September and October. So far, resistance has held there, suggesting silver could be about to outshine gold on the long side, or far less than the yellow metal in the in the case of a sell-off. So yeah, if you guys have any comments or want to throw your 2 cents in, you can comment down below. Make sure you subscribe. Remember, if you wanted to purchase from Miles Franklin, we have those new silver, gold, and platinum deals right now. Send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Folks, we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share it. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, everyone to subscribe. Let's get this 100,000 subscribers. So play button. Let's do this. Let's hit more huge, massive giveaways. I just did a massive giveaway, giving away 50 ounces of silver the other day, and bigger ones are to come. It's the least I can do to share my gratitude, just to really explain how important you guys are to me and how much I appreciate you guys tuning in, especially if you stuck around this far into the video. I appreciate that a lot. So anyways, yeah, thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.